Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I wanted to come on here and recap another episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I wasn't able to live tweet this past Sunday because I had to run some errands, but I was able to watch the show. So let's go ahead and get this recap started. So in the opening scene, we had Cynthia and Peter. And basically, Cynthia is deciding to be Peter's official business partner. They're having to move Bar 1 from their original location because the owners of the building are basically impossible. They're going through a lot of issues with them. But Cynthia is all on board to go find a new location with Peter and to go have on this business with him. So they end up going to the new location, and it's kind of dumpy. There's all types of trash everywhere. Cynthia's excited because she sees potential in the building. She's like, we can fix this up. We can have a patio back here. And then Cynthia asks one of the guys, she's like, what's that building right there that's so close next to our building? And they tell her that it's an old funeral home, and that back when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, that funeral home held his body until they were ready to bury him. So it's a really historical place. So Cynthia's like, you know what, this is going to be perfect because Martin had a dream and I have a dream, and it's just meant to be. And then Cynthia goes on to talk about how, a lot of people doubted her and Peter and didn't think that they would make it, and they thought they'd be broke up, within the next few years. And what Cynthia needs to realize is that a lot of people still doubt her and Peter. Her and Peter are not doing anything specifically to relieve anybody of their doubts. Folks still doubt Peter, and they still doubt Cynthia. But at the end of the day, this is your marriage, and you shouldn't be concerned with what people think about you or what they think about your husband. Focus on your marriage and leave it at that. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Claudia Jordan, and Claudia's going to go visit Candy. She's interested in seeing Candy's location. She feels like Candy is a great businesswoman. She's about her money, and she wants to get some branding tips from Candy to see how she can build her brand and how she can make, extra coinage. So she goes over there to Candy's office, and she says she loves the layout, and Candy starts asking her questions about sex and freaky stuff. And as we all know, Claudia Jordan is a big old freak. She has no filter, and she's very open and she's very honest. So Candy's like, you know what, being that you're so open about everything, would you like to come on my show, Candy Coated Nights? We took it off the internet for a while because Todd felt like, she needed to have a more professional platform, that it needed to be decorated, it needed to be like a real set and not just sitting on some couches. So after being on hiatus for a few years, they're bringing back Candy Coated Nights, and she wants Claudia Jordan to come join them. And Claudia says that she would love to be on the show because she used to watch the show as well. So then Claudia promises Candy that she will come back and help her on the show whenever Candy needs her. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have our good old friend Phaedra Parks, and Phaedra Parks is there at her house, and she's invited a bunch of contractors and subcontractors to basically come and look around her property because she wants a fence built. She feels like after all this dirt done happened with Apollo, that she doesn't want people putting her and her kids in danger because she's not going to have a man there at her house. So she wants a privacy fence built, and she wants it to be electronic, and she says if anybody touches it, she wants them to be shocked. And they're looking at her like, bitch, we're not about to go to jail for murder. Like, what the hell? You can't just have an electrical fence. Like, this is not a prison. This is just your house. This is not a prison. You can't, legally electrocute people because you don't want them coming on your property. So she doesn't seem to understand that, but I love how she's wearing that Fix It Jesus shirt. So it's obvious that Phaedra's trying to capitalize on her word, Fix It Jesus. So the shirt was cute. So while they're talking, all of a sudden, look what the cat drug in. Apollo comes up to the house, and Apollo's looking around like, damn, who are these people? What's going on? And Phaedra had me cracking up. She was like, they must be cleaning the streets because Apollo ain't out there running them. And I felt on that because it's a damn shame that this man is getting ready to go to prison, but he's barely spent any time at the house, not only with her, but with his boys. And then he has a nerve to say that when he shows up, everybody's acting funny towards him. He's tired of not getting any respect, and that he's never gotten respect in this relationship. My thing is, if he knew that he was not getting any respect in this relationship, why did he continue on with the relationship? Phaedra has never shown him a bunch of respect. He's always been her arm candy. I don't understand why he's shocked that she's still not respecting him. She never respected him in the beginning because all he was to her was a sperm donor and some damn arm candy. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we're back at Candy's house. It's the official launch of Candy Coated Nights. So she's there with her two co-hosts, and they're talking about all types of things. They're talking about, business and sex and stuff like that. And Candy seems kind of irritated because she's saying that she feels like when she first got with Todd, it was a lot more romantic, but now it's about business, even in the bedroom. And to me, I can respect Todd's business savvy. I can respect the fact that he wants to know what's going on. He wants Candy to build her brand. He's staying on top of her. He's trying to, you know, do his own thing with production. Now, if Todd just sat around the house and he wasn't talking about business, he wasn't talking about building his brand, building Candy's brand, then he'd be using Candy, then he'd be no good. But because he is about business and he's handling his business, now she feels some type of way. And I think the reason why Todd talks about business so much and is always trying to keep busy is because of Mama Joyce. He doesn't want to give Mama Joyce any reason to try and call him out or to try and say that Todd is using Candy. Because obviously Todd is not using Candy, because Todd brings a lot to the table. He was the one back there behind the scenes, producing, directing everything. So it's really cool to see Todd in action and to see what Todd really does. So I think Candy needs to really appreciate him and appreciate what he brings to the table creatively. You know what I'm saying? If not, she's going to lose a good man. Moving on to the next scene. So on the next scene, we have Nene and Greg, and basically Nene's waiting for a phone call, and she gets a phone call from her agent that basically a lot of different Broadway production shows are looking to book Nene in several different roles. And one of the roles that they want to book her in is Cinderella, and they want her to play the evil stepmother. And Nene kind of takes offense to that. She feels like she's sweet. She doesn't have an evil bone in her body, and she doesn't understand why they want to keep making her the villain, you know what I'm saying, outside of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And when she said that, I almost choked on my damn tea. I'm like, what the hell is this broad talking about? Nene is one of the most insecure, evil, spiteful women to ever grace reality television. Why this woman has fans, why folks continue to support her, I don't know. Is she evil, like murderously evil? No, she's not. But she does a lot of really spiteful things. You know what I'm saying? She's very condescending. And I have tons of faith in Nene that she will have no problem playing the evil stepmother, because the way she carries herself and the way she treats people is really disgusting. So I'm not shocked that she keeps getting pigeonholed to play these same characters outside of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Moving on to the next scene. So the next scene is the day of Candy's sexology party. She decides to invite all the ladies. There's a girl there in nothing but brown panties, and they have food laying on top of her and everything else. And Portia comes in, and Portia's like, what is this? What's going on? Where are her clothes? And Candy's like, you know what? She's part of the decoration. She's doing her thing. So as Portia's arriving, all the other girls start coming in. Cynthia comes in. Kenya comes in. Claudia. And then Candy invited 2 more of her friends to come and join as well. And then lo and behold, Miss Nene walks in. So Nene walks in, and Kenya goes over to go talk to Nene and go say hi. And she goes to touch me like, you know, like, hey girl. And Nene looked at her like, bitch, if you don't get your goddamn arm off of me. And I'm sitting here like, you know what? Nene is just so fake. And then instead of her going to go talk to Cynthia, it's like she was real standoffish. It's like Cynthia had to come to her. And even when Cynthia came to her, it was really fake. It was like a quick hug. And then she moved on. And then in her confessional with that raggedy ass wig on, she's still talking shit. You know, talking about, I'm like a one night stand. Once I fuck you, I'm done with you. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. If that's your personality, then that's fine. But bitch, you was just having lunch with them last weekend. So which one is it? Are you trying to be Cynthia's friend, or are you trying to play her to the left? You know, and that's why I say I'm not feeling Nene. She just comes off as fake, rude, and very condescending. You know, so that whole scene just kind of pissed me off, because just last week, you sat there and you was buddy-buddy with Kenya and everything was cool and everything was water under a bridge. And then you had the nerve to force Kenya and Portia to reconcile and apologize to each other. But now you're not being the bigger person and even giving her a simple hello back. You know, it's like she just comes off as just real foolish and nasty. So then if that wasn't bad enough, Kenya goes to Nene and she's like, you know, do you know Claudia? And Nene looked at Claudia like, yeah, I've met her before. And then she turned around and just kept having another conversation. So Claudia's looking like, well, damn, bitch, really? I didn't do anything to you. And I really respected Claudia in this moment, because most folks would have been scared of Nene. Would have been like, well, Nene's an original housewife. I don't want to say nothing to her. Claudia was like, y'all might be scared of big manly Nene and her broad shoulders, but Nene don't scare me. So she went right over to Nene and she's like, I need to talk to you. And Nene was like, what is it? And she was like, I don't like the way that you gave me a cold shoulder, because I felt like when Kenya was trying to introduce us, you know, you're like, yeah, I met her before, and you just turned around, you brushed me off. And Nene's like, well, I didn't feel like I brushed you off, but I don't know you like that. Claudia's like, that's not the point though. The point is we were being reintroduced to each other, and you just gave me the cold shoulder. And Nene's like, well, if I did that, I didn't mean to, but I mean, what did you expect? You know, Nene to me comes off as very insecure. If you guys remember during the first season that Candy came onto the show, Nene was throwing all types of daggers at Candy, talking about she's heard better singers. Who is Candy Burr supposed to be? You know, she's always been negative. She treated her own best friend Kim like shit. She threw her under the bus. Nene's just one of those women that she's very insecure. I think she's physically insecure of her body. She doesn't feel good with the skin she's in. She doesn't like her size. She doesn't like her height. She doesn't like her features. She's gotten all types of plastic surgery, shitty nose jobs. And when she sees somebody like a Claudia, who's just naturally beautiful. Claudia's a naturally pretty woman. She doesn't have any plastic surgery. Her body's real. You know what I'm saying? Her hair, for the most part, is real. Even though she wears tracks occasionally, but for the most part, Claudia's a pretty woman. Kenya Moore, even though she has a lot of fake body parts, Kenya Moore has a beautiful face. She has beautiful hair. Cynthia, we all know, is drop dead damn gorgeous. You can put any type of wig on Cynthia, any outfit on her, and she's a slam dunk. Portia is beautiful. She has a nice body. So it seems like Nene is just very, very, very insecure. And it seems like the ones that she don't really see as competition, she can kind of be cool with them because she's talked a lot of shit about Phaedra. Phaedra's, body weight, Phaedra's size. Like, she looks as Phaedra is like, she's more homely. And when she gets around the other women who are tall, pretty, thin, they look more, feminine compared to her, it's like she automatically goes on the defense. So I wasn't feeling how she came at Claudia at all. Her attitude is nasty. This is the same one they claim that she doesn't have an evil bone in her body. But it's like, watching her demeanor and watching how she treats people, I can't tell. Moving on to the next scene. Next scene, they're still at the sexology party, and they're meeting with the psychologist. She's there. She's a real pretty lady. And in the meantime, they have put Nene and Claudia in this little contraption to make them, I guess, be friends and to be able to talk to each other. And what kind of was really sad in that moment is that the camera panned over to Cynthia's face, and she just looked really, really upset. She looked really hurt. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like Cynthia's tired of Nene basically playing games with her. Nene comes off as a bully. You know what I'm saying? You know how like somebody who's your friend, but then you get into it with them and they go hang with somebody else and they try and act like them and that person are like best friends now. They're laughing extra hard so you can hear them across the hallway. They're being extra giddy and, bouncy and huggy and, just doing all types of over the top shit just to try and subconsciously get your attention. And I feel like that's what Nene was doing with Claudia, being extra loud, being extra boisterous to kind of make Cynthia jealous. It's like, why even offer out that leaf? Why even offer out that peace offering to her last week and act like you wanted to, pick up right where y'all left off and like you wanted to be her friend, only to once again throw it back in her face and insult her. So Nene's just a trip. So anyways, as they're going around the circle describing their relationships and things like that, they get to Demetra McKinney. Demetra decides to tell everybody about how she's been in a relationship with her man, Roger Bob, for the past 8 years, and that he has the best D in ATL. And I'm like, why are you even bringing up his sex? You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate when girls do that. And then they want to get mad when girls take them up on that damn offer. Don't sit there and brag about your man and think that them chicks ain't thinking about what the hell Roger Bob got to play with down there. So it made no sense why she even brought that up. So while she's talking, Candy's friend, the one with the blue hair, I forget her name, she speaks up and she was like, how long have you been with Roger Bob? You're saying 8 years. Did you guys ever take a break? And she was like, yeah, we were kind of off and on. We had to keep our relationship secret at times. She said, well, what about like a year and a half, 2 years ago? And she was like, well, I was with Roger Bob. And Demetra McKinney was like, you were with Roger Bob a year or two ago? She's like, you couldn't have been with him because I was with him at that time. That's my man. We're together now. And she's like, well, I don't know, what he told you, but he told me that you were just his artist and that, you guys were not together and me and him were dating. So when that girl said that, I'm talking about Demetra's face like it was about to crack. She was in shock. She was pissed off. She gets up, she grabs her purse, and she goes running out the room. And then Cynthia goes running behind her, and everybody just starts talking about it. And honestly, I don't feel bad for Demetria. Obviously, you're either a side piece or a jump off, because I don't understand how a woman who's in her late 30s, early 40s can be in a relationship with somebody off and on for 8 years with no commitment. It seems like everybody in the room done slept with him or done had some type of interaction with Roger Bob. They might as well sell t-shirts that say, I too have slept with Roger Bob. Because it seemed like ever since people heard that Demetra was with Roger Bob, nobody seemed happy. Nobody even looked at the relationship as being real. It's like everybody has something negative to say, or they felt like, what, Roger Bob is in a relationship? He has a girlfriend? Like, everybody knows this man is being a player, so I don't understand why she's upset. She has to know his reputation. So that whole situation was just a mess. Candy wanted to act all shocked and surprised, knowing damn well she loved how that went down at her party, because it made her party very interesting with all the dirt that went on right there. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. What was your favorite scene? And then what did you think about the way Nene was acting towards Claudia Jordan, Kenya, and Cynthia? So once again, if you are not following me, I am at Lovely T on Twitter, and I'm Lovely T 2002 on Instagram. All right, deuces.